This is the story of Paul Downs, a successful Midlands businessman. In February 2009, he spent a fortune hiring a fairy tale castle in Jamaica. Paul also invited 12 beautiful Ukrainian women, some of them part-time models, for an all-expenses-paid 2-week holiday. Paul's plan was that one of the women would become his wife.
Paul was always very, very good at talking people into proposals and propositions, business propositions. Always very, very good at it.
He didn't date much. Once in a great while, you would hear that he went on a date. Paul loves women, but when it came to that, the very outgoing, attack everything guy was very, maybe if you want to use the word shy, when it came to women, I would think would be a good description.
As the sun set on our 3-hour drive to the airport, I could sense Paul's increasing nervousness as his fantasy was about to be lived out.
Come on, Paul. Now we have a very special rose here because when you take it off, it becomes a bikini.
I was impressed that Paul had succeeded in getting the 12 women from the Ukraine to Jamaica. It looked as though everyone was enjoying themselves, and for the first night, Paul's plan looked like a masterstroke.
In a mania, there's no rhyme or reason to anything. You just live in your fantasy world until you come down with a bump.
Once his bipolar disorder was triggered, there was no going back.
The interesting thing about bipolar disorder, though, is that initially you may need a rather important stressor. Later on, it takes a life of its own. So you no longer need major stressors to trigger it, similar to epilepsy.
It was as though Paul's mania had enabled him to become a Superman. His shyness was swept away as night after night he had 12 beautiful women throwing themselves at his feet. Rather than alienating the women, Paul's mania now seemed to be drawing them ever deeper into his fantasy world.
On a scale of your manias, where was that, 1 to 10?
It was a 10. It was a 10.
It was a full-on...
You can't go higher than that.
When the Jamaica trip ended, the women went home, and Paul hasn't seen any of them since. In the year following Jamaica, Paul has been manic and depressed a number of times. Paul struggles through his lows as he waits for the highs that will once again transform his world into a paradise.